Today is a special moment for all of us. 25 years ago, SharePoint started as a simple idea to help teams work together and share knowledge across their organizations. None of us could have predicted the foundation that SharePoint would become for people and teams around the world. And it was shaped by you, our customers, our partners, and most of all, our community. End users, admins, developers, business leaders, all together, we chartered the transformation of work, first with the cloud, and now with AI. Along the way, you helped us build the right application, the right platform, and the right infrastructure, pushing it every step of the way to do our very best work, not just for today, but for years to come. Thank you for trusting SharePoint as the foundation for work and building the best community in tech that always supports each other. Before we focus on what's next, let me give you a preview of our upcoming documentary, More Than Code, that highlights the vibrant community and people who have shaped this journey together.
I came to understand that in this community, there's a place for everyone.
We could have never imagined that people would gravitate to this product and the community around it. It is the people. We built the product for you.
The community had this energy, this vibrancy that I had never seen before with any product.
The fact that people would donate their time on a Saturday outside of work to go help and train others just speaks to the magic of the bonds and relationships that are formed.
They were not these big fancy production value things. It was like card tables in the local community college.
But there was clearly more to these SharePoint Saturdays than just learning about SharePoint.
I think the community has helped me and helped me help others.
Every product maker hopes to have something that has that kind of fan following.
And you can't force it.
No, it just has to happen.
It has to be organic.
You always want to be a part of something bigger than yourself, and you felt like that. You felt like that whether or not you were part of the Microsoft team.
I got to be somewhere that nobody made me be less than who I was. Nobody made me fit into a box.
For whatever reason, we seem to have accumulated a set of people who wanted to make SharePoint their home.
I had never really experienced feeling at home like that in my work before.
And I think when we're at our best, it's co-produced with our customers. It is co-developing the future together.
The creativity of our community has just blown me away.
What have customers done that we haven't even thought about yet? It brings a whole different dimension of a problem.
It is probably the most unique product I think I've ever worked on. It's this kind of magical interchange between building a thing that we really hand off to our community and they finish it and assemble it.
And that's really what's taken us forward and into things like Teams and all the other things that we now have. A lot of that is because we have such a strong community.
We want to give people a sense of the future, allow them to feel safe as they experiment with it, and really co-develop so they feel like it's something they're contributing to.
Working in tech is great, learning about SharePoint is great, but in the end, why do we do all this? Is really to have an impact and hopefully to leave a lasting legacy.
We want people to understand that that's the power of technology, that's the power of something like SharePoint that is backed by an ecosystem and community.
This is about human beings building things with other human beings. We will premiere the full documentary at the Microsoft 365 Community Conference in Orlando this April. We're now in a moment where knowledge matters more than ever. As AI becomes part of work, every day, every workflow, what really determines its value is whether it understands you, your work, and your organization. And that's where Work IQ, the intelligence layer that grounds Copilot and agents in your real knowledge, is quickly becoming a foundational necessity for AI workload adoptions around the world. And as the #1 grounding source for Copilot and agents, SharePoint plays an essential role here. It is the foundation for AI-powered experiences across the Microsoft stack, from intranets to content workflows to business solutions at massive scale. It's where your documents live, where your permissions are respected, and where your organizational context is preserved. Billions of new documents are created in SharePoint every single day. And that isn't just scale, that's signal. a signal that organizations trust SharePoint with their most important content, and that trust is exactly what makes AI useful, responsible, and ready for today's real-world needs. Today isn't just about a look at the past. It's about showing how 25 years of experience has prepared SharePoint for being part of the future of work, and that future is being built right now. So I'm incredibly excited to get started and show you what's next. And to introduce that, I'd like to hand it over to Adam and Denise.
Thanks, Jeff. Denise and I are here today to help you understand the critical role SharePoint plays in organizations across the globe. We'll get specific on how you can get the most out of SharePoint and how it fits into your Microsoft 365 investments.
That's right, Adam. We are humbled that so many organizations have placed their trust in SharePoint to keep their most important knowledge in a way that's both collaborative and secure.
And it's important to understand that SharePoint is not just a destination in Microsoft 365. It's woven deeply across the suite, ensuring seamless experiences that work across the app boundaries.
Think about where work happens today. You jump into Teams, you open a doc in Word from your favorite channel. All of that is backed by SharePoint. Same story if you're streaming a video in Clipchamp, working together in Loop, or cross-publishing a newsletter in Engage and email. Most people don't stop to think about what's underneath because they don't have to. SharePoint's platform provides the secure content foundation behind it all.
The scale of this platform is truly amazing. More than 1 billion users rely on SharePoint every year. And as of last year, that includes OneDrive across both work and personal accounts, which also run on the SharePoint platform. Beyond the role as a platform, though, we see our customers using the SharePoint app to create mission-critical sites for 3 key scenarios. First, collaboration. Millions of teams every day use a SharePoint team site to stay connected and share content. We actually thought it would be fun to show you our own team site. Here's the OneDrive and SharePoint's organization's team site, available both on the web and, of course, within our Teams channel. Our site has over 500,000 visits in just the last month. It's an incredibly active part of our team processes. We highlight important events, store critical documents, announce news and status, and even have a place where new hires can introduce themselves. Just like so many of our customers, we use SharePoint to drive a collaborative and transparent culture and create community.
Now, Adam showed the team-level destinations, but we see so many customers also leveraging SharePoint for the other end of the spectrum, communicating and publishing across the organization. When shared knowledge needs to travel further, when it needs to inform, align, and connect the entire company, that's where SharePoint communication sites come in. They are an easy way of configuring a SharePoint site with your brand and your knowledge. I'm so inspired and impressed by a company like Takeda. They leverage over 3,000 communication sites on SharePoint to break down barriers between divisions, define authoritative knowledge, and keep leaders and employees connected.
Third, we see customers realize the incredible power of technology to automate their processes, with content playing a central role in that transformation. SharePoint is the most used Power Platform connector and the most popular knowledge source for Copilot Studio. In fact, every week, customers run over 3 billion workflows on SharePoint content. For instance, at Amy, agents in SharePoint are helping frontline teams collaborate around trusted knowledge through a simple chat interface in their native language and across mobile devices. That same trusted content foundation is what makes automation possible at scale. For instance, at Mars, SharePoint content fuels Power Automate to streamline enterprise processes and approvals and site provisioning, removing manual effort and accelerating work across the organization. Across finance, legal, sales automation, customers use SharePoint at massive scale, deploying libraries with millions of items, using metadata to categorize it, workflows and agents to automate the processes around it, and Copilot and Search to ensure knowledge is available to the people who need it.
We've seen how our customers are using SharePoint to connect people, scale knowledge, and automate work. Those scenarios didn't just inspire how SharePoint is used, they reshaped how it should feel. Now that you have an idea of what you can hire SharePoint to do for you, it's time for our first product announcement of the day. Inspired by these customer scenarios, we're unveiling the next chapter in the SharePoint user experience. We are giving SharePoint a fresh new look, but that's not all. We're elevating and simplifying core experiences so that tasks that might have previously required deep technical expertise are now more accessible to everyone. We're introducing a modern, cohesive experience designed for how people work in an AI-first world. Now, to better visualize what I mean, let's have a closer look.
For 25 years, you've trusted SharePoint with the knowledge that keeps your business moving. Through every shift in how work happens, we've grown alongside you, earning that trust, and making sure you're always prepared for what's next. Today, we're announcing a fresh new look and an experience built for how people work in an AI-first world.
What you just saw is a clear expression of where SharePoint is going. A fresh new look, a more focused front door to get collaborating quickly, simpler content publishing and solution building to make everyone a creator. In short, it's about moving faster from intent to action. We are already seeing a 99% keep rate of the new UX from our early preview users, and we're incredibly excited to get more feedback from our customers because the public preview is launching today. We know there's a lot of change happening in our industry, and part of SharePoint's ethos over 25 years has been to bring customers along and build bridges from the past to the future. So join our preview today and come with us on this journey.
And at the center of the experience is AI. For those of you who heard us talk about the Knowledge Agent last fall, we have simplified and integrated those features into SharePoint. Now, the most relevant actions are available as contextual AI experiences built directly into SharePoint with Copilot.
It's clear that AI and SharePoint will transform every step of the content lifecycle. To help you see what's possible and learn more about the exciting announcements we are making today, we'll turn it over to John.
Thanks, Adam and Denise, and hello, everyone. Really excited to be with you today. Work begins with an idea, but ideas only matter when they evolve. At Microsoft, we believe AI is fundamentally transforming how ideas evolve into outcomes and how content and solutions are created. We first saw this shift with coding assistants in GitHub, and today it's reshaping the entire content lifecycle. Let me walk you through that lifecycle now to see how AI is infusing intelligence into every stage. It starts with build and create. Your ideas move quickly from intent to impact, because content is created right where work happens across pages, sites, workflows, lists, and even agents. And today, we're announcing new innovation in public preview that allows you to build solutions and create content using natural language. No deep expertise required. Simply explain your idea, and SharePoint will start building it for you. Next is organize and automate. As content is created, SharePoint can automatically structure and enrich it with metadata, context, and signals. Business processes route information through approvals and workflows with minimal friction, while AI-ready organization happens in the background, not as extra work for your team, which unlocks ask and find. When knowledge is well organized, discovery becomes natural. You can simply ask questions in your own words, and Copilot responds with grounded, permission-aware answers drawn from trusted content. search evolves into understanding, turning institutional knowledge into immediate, actionable insight. And throughout, govern and manage is built in. Speed doesn't have to come at the cost of control. Policies travel with content from day one. Permissions are enforced, compliance is automated, and lifecycle management is continuous. Governance isn't a tax on productivity, it's what makes your knowledge trustworthy, durable, and safe to use at AI scale. So this is SharePoint, bringing intelligence and connectivity across the content lifecycle. So let's see how this comes to life. Now, Corey will show you how easy it is to organize, create, and automate your content.
Thanks, John, and hi, everyone. What I'm excited to show you is how building in SharePoint has fundamentally changed. You can now create solutions and communicate with audiences that were previously out of reach without needing deep SharePoint expertise. It's faster, more structured, and governed by default. So everything you build is ready for AI from day one. AI in SharePoint lets you work in natural language, using the same building blocks you already understand, and get results in just minutes. At its core, SharePoint builds on three simple concepts: pages for storytelling, lists for structure, and libraries for knowledge at scale. This agentic experience makes all three easier to use and easier to connect without over-designing upfront. Let's say my organization needs a new site to help us track products under development. In the past, this would have started with a blank site, some trial and error, and a lot of planning. Coming soon to public preview, I can iterate in SharePoint, describing an outcome I'd like to achieve. AI helps me plan and refine my needs, and working together, we can get it right. Once the site exists, SharePoint's agentic experience stays with me everywhere I work, with access to dozens of tools and a deep understanding of the SharePoint platform. The floating action button, often referred to as the fab, scopes AI to my current context, based on where I am and what I'm allowed to do. As a content creator, I can build rich pages through chat using the new Vibe experience. I just describe the outcome I want, no need to remember all the available web parts. AI in SharePoint also helps people create and evolve structured knowledge sources. I can create a list from scratch, from a file, or by describing the data I want to track. I can refine views, ask questions across the data, and also evolve the structure over time. The same applies to document libraries. I can seed a library with example files, and SharePoint proposes the right metadata automatically. As more documents arrive, metadata is enriched behind the scenes and ready for discovery and automation. The key takeaway here is not any single feature, it's the outcome. I can move fast with powerful capabilities right out of the box. And as I build, SharePoint is organizing and enriching content automatically, so it's AI ready from day one. But every organization has its own best practices and guidelines. Corporate branding and tone for external communications, templates used to communicate requirements, and even details like file naming standards. Today, we're announcing SharePoint Skills, a way to codify your organization's processes using SharePoint's agent experience, coming to preview soon. Skills let you turn "this is how we usually do things" into something SharePoint does automatically, for every team, every time. Now, let's see a few skills in action. My organization is highly collaborative, like many of yours. So product libraries contain large volumes of content created across multiple disciplines. We have clear file naming conventions that we want teams to follow. So I've codified those guidelines into a SharePoint skill. Proper file names improve clarity for people, improve search results, and improve the quality of Copilot and agent understanding. Like most organizations, my team also has guidelines for external communications. Tone, brevity, and brand alignment can all be codified into simple skills that benefit every communicator. I'll take this marketing blog and product spec and generate a LinkedIn post. AI recognizes my intent and uses the Zava Comms and Zava LinkedIn skills to generate a high-quality on-brand post in just seconds. You don't need to over-design upfront. You don't need to trade speed for governance. You can start small, move fast, and let SharePoint and its agent help your knowledge scale responsibly. And with that, I'll hand it over to Miranda to show you how this knowledge is discovered and governed at scale.
Once the content exists, the real question becomes, how do I find the information? And for admins, how do I keep it under control as it grows? This is where AI fundamentally changes the experience for both end users and admins. For employees, discovery is no longer about remembering where something lives or clicking through a lot of sites to piece things together. With AI in SharePoint, you can ask a question naturally and get an answer that's grounded in trusted content, real permission, and the context of your work. And if you want to go deeper, all you have to do is ask. Now, instead of just telling me about it, AI in SharePoint takes me directly to the right page. This is a great example of how you can use SharePoint AI to find the right page, document, or place, helping you move from question to understanding to action. And now that experience extends even further in the Copilot app with WorkIQ. WorkIQ brings all your work into a single place to ask questions across Microsoft 365, while still respecting the structure and trust your organization depends on. You can scope WorkIQ to specific SharePoint site using the site filter, so Copilot is pulling from the exact content hub your team relies on most, grounded in SharePoint's content, permissions, and context. This result is powerful. I get a great update, not only of the knowledge in the site, but the latest updates that are happening on the site as well. Copilot can summarize recent changes, demonstrating SharePoint knowledge connected across the Microsoft 365 Copilot experience. This turns searching into knowing. People get what they need without overexposure and without needing to understand the underlying structure. But AI isn't just changing how employees find and use information. It's also reshaping how administrators govern and manage content across the organization in meaningful ways. With the SharePoint admin agent, admins gain an intelligent partner that helps them understand their environment, assess content readiness, and take actions, all through targeted language. Instead of manually running reports across various tools, admins can simply ask, what sites are being overshared? Where do we have permission risks? What content is no longer being used? And because SharePoint backs all Microsoft 365 content, those insights span across sites, files, Teams recordings and transcripts, Loop components, and every other surface where information is stored and shared. This is what modern governance looks like: proactive, not reactive. Control that doesn't slow teams down, and confidence that allows organizations to move faster, responsibly. Well, that was a quick tour, but the takeaway is that SharePoint isn't just a place to store files. It's a governed knowledge layer that Copilot can securely use across the Microsoft 365 experience. So whether you're creating content, finding answers, or managing at scale, AI is working across the entire lifecycle. Now back to John.
For 25 years, our customers and partners haven't just used SharePoint, they've helped build it. From early access programs to hackathons to just conversations next to the podium after an event session to product previews, you have all helped shape this platform. As work scales with AI, those relationships and partnerships matter more than ever. We rely on you to help SharePoint bring order to growing volumes of content, move faster from idea to execution, and apply AI in ways that are practical and real. And the best way to understand how SharePoint is being used and where it's going is to hear from the people who use it every day.
My name is David Barrick, and I'm the Director of Commercial Analytics at Weatherford, an oilfield service and energy company. The head of the Commercial and Tenders group came to us looking for an AI solution to help with understanding the documents, using AI to get answers quickly. We deal with about 6,000 contracts and tenders per year. So over 3 years, that's 250,000 folders. We've discovered that currently it takes between 1 and 3 minutes to file a document. And with 250,000 documents, that's a lot of time. With the new solution, that 2 to 3 minutes has been reduced down to 10 to 15 seconds. So it's a big time saver there on the filing of them alone. Overall, that's like 5,000 to 6,000 hours saved per year.
Automation surely simplified our lives here. SharePoint also does a great job. The AI goes and auto-classifies the document. So we have completely enriched data throughout the SharePoint.
My name is Danny Burlich. I'm from the Netherlands and I work for a company. I founded a company called Wortel. What we see at Wortel is that over the last 25 years, challenges basically have stayed the same: knowledge, collaboration, and scale. Agents are the shift because they don't just retrieve information, they interpret, summarize, and act. We are constantly leveraging all the great stuff with Copilot and agents, enabling our key personnel to really become ultimately productive. Today, the biggest challenge is signal to noise, finding the right information, trusting it, acting on it fast with governance and security is still crucial. And that's where SharePoint comes in. SharePoint Search gives great documents. AI gives you outcomes. And SharePoint is moving from a destination to becoming an active participant in getting work done. Organizations will stop thinking of knowledge as something they store and start treating it as a valuable capability. For Wortel, SharePoint has been the hero. We are now evolving into an AI world where SharePoint really is the centerpiece.
I'm Antti Nivala, founder and Chief Innovation Officer at M-Files. When we started M-Files, we made a very deliberate choice to build with Microsoft. For many years, M-Files and SharePoint were seen as alternatives in document management, and it's extremely rare that former competitors can join forces to deliver exceptional customer value. It's a testament to how much SharePoint has evolved in 25 years. What began as a single application has evolved into a powerful set of platform offerings that sits at the heart of Microsoft 365 and Copilot. That means M-Files can amplify the power of Copilot with our industry-specific context-aware permission models, and deep, out-of-the-box business system integrations. Thanks to innovations like SharePoint Embedded, customers now have an additional go-to option for document management, with M-Files joining SharePoint and OneDrive as storing content natively within Microsoft 365. We are incredibly proud to be a strategic partner with Microsoft and the SharePoint team. This is the foundation for real-world AI. Document management that is context-first, purpose-built for your use case, and built on the Microsoft 365 platform. And the most exciting part, we are just getting started.
You just heard it in their words. Thank you to our customers and partners for building and shaping SharePoint with us year after year. Jeff, back over to you.
Thanks, John. What you just saw is SharePoint stepping fully into an AI-first world grounded in the trust, scale, and experience we've built over 25 years. From contextual AI in SharePoint becoming a natural part of how work gets done, helping you create content, structure knowledge, and build solutions, to a first look at SharePoint's new experience, a simpler, focused front door designed beautifully for speed, clarity, and AI-powered work, now in public preview. So whether you're publishing content or building solutions or unlocking knowledge with Copilot and agents, SharePoint is there, right by your side, ready for what's next. But this is just the beginning. SharePoint isn't just for IT teams or admins. It's for builders and makers across the organization, and users, designers, architects, developers. And that's why today we are excited to officially kick off the SharePoint Hackathon, running from today until March 16th, and it's open to everyone. You do not need to be a developer in this hackathon. There are categories to submit for every role. And we have additional live streams and AMAs and more to support this. everyone can join on this hackathon. To our customers, partners, community, and engineering team, thank you. This milestone isn't the finish line. It is the start for what we build next together. And with AI, I have never been more excited about delivering better experiences and better extensibility faster than ever to all of you. So thank you again for being the best collaborative community, building the best collaboration platform.
Okay.
Do you want me to just talk about Screaming Monkeys?
I've got a live stream on my phone of my chicken coop.
High energy.
They're always like, more energy. I'm like, ooh.
Microsoft.
That was a really long answer, though.
It is weird, yeah.
Okay.
Backwards? Is it backwards, Daniel? Is this 25? Can't believe I didn't like trip on my words.
Happy happy something.
All right, I'm out. Let's go.